Wait, seriously. Could your favorite travel snack actually get you stopped at airport security in 2026? Imagine this. You're rolling through the airport, boarding pass in one hand, your favorite trail mix or homemade sandwich in the other. Feeling confident, relaxed, maybe even a little excited about the trip ahead. And then suddenly the TSA officer looks at your bag, pauses, and says, "Sir, you can't bring that through. Hold up, what?" That moment of confusion, maybe a little embarrassment, maybe even a laugh, like, "You gotta be kidding me, right?" Well, believe it or not, travelers all across the United States are starting to run into this exact situation because the 2026 TSA food policy changes are shaking up what you can and can't bring through airport checkpoints. And if you travel often, or even just once in a while, this is something you really need to know before your next trip. Because the last thing you want is to lose your favorite snack, hold up the line, or worse, get flagged for something you didn't even realize was a problem. And today on Golden Age Travel Tips, we're diving deep into what's actually happening. Why some foods are suddenly getting extra attention at security. And the surprising snacks that might get you pulled aside at the checkpoint. So stick around because some of these might shock you. And yeah, a few of them are actually pretty funny too. Now, first things first. Let's clear something up real quick. There isn't a massive all food is banned rule coming in 2026. So relax. Nobody's taking away your airplane peanuts or your protein bars entirely. But the Transportation Security Administration, better known as Transportation Security Administration, has been tightening enforcement around foods that fall into what they call the spreadable or gel-like category. And this is where things start getting interesting, because a lot of snacks people casually pack for flights technically fall into that category without travelers even realizing it. And if you've ever heard of the famous 3-1-1 liquids rule, you already know the basic idea: anything liquid, gel or creamy, must be under 3.4 ounces and fit inside a quart-size bag. A rule that's been around for years. But what's changing in 2026 isn't necessarily the rule itself. It's how strictly and consistently it's being applied to foods, especially things like peanut butter jars, yogurt containers, hummus tubs, creamy dips, salsa jars, honey packets, maple syrup bottles, soft cheeses, and even certain dessert spreads that people love to bring on flights. And suddenly travelers are discovering that those items are being treated exactly the same way as shampoo or lotion at the checkpoint. Picture this scenario. You wake up early, you're heading to the airport in cities like New York City or Los Angeles. You stop by your kitchen, toss a container of homemade yogurt parfait into your carry-on because airport food is crazy expensive. Seriously, who wants to pay $12 for a tiny fruit cup? And you figure you're being smart by bringing your own snack. But when your bag goes through the scanner, the officer pulls it aside, opens the pocket, and there it is. Yogurt cup bigger than 3.4 ounces. Technically a gel. And boom, you're forced to toss it in the trash right there at security. And you're standing there thinking, man, I just bought that. Now, why is this suddenly becoming such a big deal in 2026? According to security officials, part of the reason is consistency. Different airports use to interpret certain foods differently. So travelers could bring something through one airport and get stopped at another, which obviously creates confusion and slows down screening lines. And let's be honest, airport lines are already stressful enough, right? Nobody wants extra delays when they're trying to catch a flight. So the TSA has been pushing for more consistent enforcement across the country, meaning foods that behave like liquids, think creamy, spreadable, or scoopable, are now getting flagged more often. And that includes some snacks you might never expect, like jars of peanut butter, containers of hummus, or even big tubs of salsa from your favorite grocery store. And here's where things get kind of funny, because technically a solid peanut butter sandwich is perfectly fine. But the moment that peanut butter is in a jar, it becomes a spreadable gel, which means if it's over 3.4 ounces, it could get confiscated. And yeah, I know, it sounds ridiculous, but airport security rules have always worked like that. Remember when people first learned snow globes counted as liquids? Same kind of deal. Now, before you panic and throw out every snack idea you've ever had for a flight, there's actually a simple trick frequent travelers use. Think solid, not scoopable. Crackers, totally fine. Granola bars, go for it. Chips, pretzels, nuts, dried fruit, no problem at all. Even sandwiches, wraps, and sliced fruit are generally allowed, as long as they're not swimming in sauce or dressing. And honestly, if you're traveling through busy hubs like Hartsfield, Jackson, Atlanta International Airport, or Los Angeles International Airport, sticking with solid snacks can make your trip through security way smoother. But here's the twist a lot of travelers don't see coming. International flights can be even stricter depending on the destination country, because many countries have agricultural rules that restrict fresh foods entirely, meaning that apple or sandwich you packed might not be allowed when you land overseas. And that's why seasoned travelers sometimes finish their snacks before landing or toss them before customs, just to avoid any issues. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever had airport security? Take something out of your bag that you thought was totally fine. Maybe a drink you forgot about. Maybe a jar of something delicious you packed at the last minute. If that's happened to you, drop it in the comments, because those stories are honestly some of the funniest travel moments out there. And chances are, someone else watching this video has had the exact same thing happen. And speaking of funny, one traveler recently shared a story about bringing a giant jar of peanut butter through security thinking it was fine because it's food. And the TSA officer looked at it, smiled, and said, "Sir, this is basically a jar of paste," and that jar ended up in the confiscation bin, along with shampoo bottles and sunscreen. Brutal, right? But also kind of hilarious. The bigger lesson here is that airport rules often focus on how something behaves, not what it technically is, which is why creamy foods get treated like liquids. And once you understand that simple idea, navigating airport security becomes way easier. Another smart move many frequent flyers use is packing food in checked luggage instead of carry-ons if it's something spreadable or liquid, because checked bags don't have the same strict liquid limits. And that means you can still bring things like sauces, honey, or specialty foods home from a trip without losing them at the checkpoint. And let's be real for a second, food is a huge part of travel, right? Whether you're bringing local treats home for family or packing snacks to save money at the airport, nobody wants to see their food tossed in a security bin. So knowing these rules ahead of time can literally save you time, money, and frustration on travel day. Now, here's the surprising part. Even though these enforcement changes might sound annoying, they're actually making security lines move faster in many airports because officers spend less time debating whether something counts as a liquid or not. And faster lines mean less stress for everyone trying to catch a flight, which honestly is something every traveler can appreciate. So the next time you're packing for a trip, remember this simple rule. If you can pour it, spread it, scoop it, or squeeze it, it probably falls under the liquids rule at airport security. And keeping those items under the 3.4 ounce limit or putting them in your checked bag can save you from an awkward checkpoint moment. And if you found this tip helpful, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button so more travelers can see this. Share it with someone who always packs snacks for flights. And tell me in the comments what the weirdest thing airport security has ever taken out of your bag was. Because trust me, those stories make travel way more entertaining. And if you want more smart travel hacks, insider airport tips, and ways to make flying smoother and cheaper, make sure you subscribe to Golden Age Travel Tips, because the more you know before you get to the airport, the easier your journey becomes.